Hi all, welcome to Eduflare Academy. So from today onwards, we are going to start our Ctet Social Science previous year question paper discussion. So we already completed most of the topic in our social science, and this is the time to prepare for the next exam by practicing previous year questions. So this session definitely help you to understand the most important areas from each chapters, both social science pedagogy, social science subject and pedagogy areas. So we know that not only social science students are required to attend this paper, also English students are required to attend this social science paper in Ctet examination. So especially for English students, I think they have less knowledge in social science. So this PYQ discussion and the explanation of the important areas and this answer explanation of their answers definitely help you to understand the topic more clearly. So let's start the session. So today it's our first class. We are going to deal chapter 1, that is when, where and how. Okay. So the first question from this chapter. So before going to question, I want to tell you something. These all questions are taken from previous year question papers, and also these all topics are very important in this chapter. So I'm planning to upload PYQ based on each chapters. Okay, so these all topics are very important. So if you have any doubt, you can ask me in comment box. Okay. So the first question, which of the following statement about ancient manuscript is not correct? Okay, not correct. Most of the students are not seeing the word not. Okay, they think which of the following statement about ancient manuscript is correct, and they look the corresponding answer or options. So first you need to read the question carefully. Okay, which of the following statement about ancient manuscript is not correct? Here not correct is specifically mentioned there, so carefully read the question paper first. So the options are given there. They were usually written on palm leaves. They are primary source of the period they reflected. They were handwritten and then printed. Some manuscripts were engraved on stone or metal. Okay, I'm already discussed this topic, and manuscripts are very important topic. So which of the following statement about ancient manuscript is not correct? So I give you 10 to 15 seconds, try to find out the answer. If you don't know what you mean by manuscripts, you can't able to answer this question. Okay. Okay, let's see the answer. Here, the correct answer is option 3. They were handwritten and then printed. Okay, answer 3 is correct. They are handwritten and then printed. Then what do you mean by manuscripts? Ancient manuscripts were always handwritten. Okay, ancient manuscripts were always handwritten, not printed one. So printing technology came much later. They were usually written on palm leaves or brick bark. Okay, they are usually written on palm leaves or brick bark. Manuscripts are primary source of history, and some important records were also engraved on stone or copper plates. These copper or stone plates which is related to inscriptions. So you need to understand the difference between manuscripts and inscription. Manuscripts are handwritten on palm leaves or brick bar, and inscriptions are engraved on stone, copper, or metal. Okay, so you can also expect a question from inscriptions. So I understand the meaning of inscription. So the correct answer is manuscript were handwritten and then printed. So this option is not related to ancient manuscripts. So the next question, what is common era? What do you mean by common era or CE? A new era developed by amalgamation of Hindu era and Islamic era, a new era to study historical events, Christian era which is now accepted in major parts of the world, Indian era accepted by the government to issue notices. We already discussed this topic, so try to find out the answer. Okay, the correct answer is it is refers to Christian era which is now accepted in major parts of the world. So what do you mean by common era? It is Christian era which is now accepted in major parts of the world. So common era is the secular term for Anno Domini, that is AD. Before common era, that is BCE. BC refers to before common era is used to instead of BC, that is before Christ. It is internationally accepted for dating historical event. So the Christian era is termed as CE. Question number 3. The division of the period of Indian history is another important question. The division of the period of Indian history into ancient, medieval and modern, that is ancient history, medieval history and modern history, also has problems. Which of the following is one of the problems in it? So here the question is related to problem related to the division of the period of Indian history. The first one is tripartite division reflects gradual growth of the Indian state. 3 periods are sufficient to describe Indian history. The concept has been borrowed from the West, where modern period was associated with science, reason, democracy, liberty and equality. And the last option, Indian history seems to have clear lines of distinction between ancient and medieval and modern period. So I give you 10 or 15 seconds, try to find out the answer. The question is related to modern division of Indian history. So we need to identify one problem related to the division of Indian history into medieval, ancient, medieval and modern. Okay, let's see the answer. So the correct answer is option 3, that is the concept has been borrowed from the West, where modern period was associated with science, reason, democracy, liberty and equality. So the classification into ancient, we know that our Indian history is classified into 2, or periodization of Indian history is into ancient, medieval and modern. So these are the 3 periods of Indian history was borrowed from European historiography. These 3 division or periods we borrowed from European historiography. In Europe, the modern period is associated with enlightenment, democracy, industrialization, equality and liberty. But in India, the so-called modern period is also colonial exploitation, inequality, and loss of freedom. So that is the difference between modern period in Europe and the modern period in India. Okay, in India, the modern period is also so colonial exploitation, inequality, and loss of freedom, which does not fit well with the Western idea of modernity. Thus, this tripartite division does not correctly reflect Indian realities. So that is the answer. Okay. So hope you understand the questions and answers. If you have any doubt, feel free to ask. Okay. Thank you.